Hey folks, today we're going to talk about the mainstream news and whether or not we can really trust it. Thanks for visiting livemorenow.net. My name is Kim. Some of you may have recently read that Rupert Murdoch purchased the National Geographic magazine. Rupert Murdoch is the owner of News Corp, including 21st Century Fox and many other recognizable names. He is a media mogul, estimated to be worth over $10 billion. Sounds like a lot, but if you take a look at the infographic that I've included here, you'll see that over 90% of the media that we see is actually owned by only 6 corporations. So why should we care about this? Why do I care that only 6 corporations are controlling the majority of the media that I see? Just to be clear, for starters, the news is not a public service industry. These are international conglomerates that have their own agendas. Now, these conglomerates are publicly traded companies, which means by law, they are required to protect the interests of their shareholders. And this translates into increased profitability. And when I say shareholders, I don't mean a bunch of men dressed in suits in a boardroom. If you have a 401k or an IRA, you very well may be a shareholder too, in which case this law may sound like a great idea. Unfortunately, the law often can inhibit or even prohibit social responsibility. Because profitability is a requirement, advertising dollars become king. And instead of being shown what is most important, we're actually being shown what is the most eye-catching. It doesn't take much to see that most news channels are regurgitating the same headlines over and over again, usually showing different talking heads, expressing their own opinions, most often aligning with their parent company's agendas. Now, another area of concern that I recently discovered while researching for this very video is something commonly referred to as fake news, or VNRs, which stands for video news releases. A video news release is funded and produced entirely by a group or corporation, and it's aired during the news intentionally to look like news and mislead us into believing that it is in fact news. In my description below, I've included a link for an article that explains this in more depth. And in this article, they go on to describe as a great example, one network that aired a news segment titled Climate Change and Hurricanes. Is it just hot air? And they did not release any information indicating that this was a VNR. And after doing a little bit of digging, you can see that this video news release was created, produced, and funded by an oil lobbyist and PR firm. And ExxonMobil was listed as one of their main clients, who of course has a vested interest in denying climate change. Now let's pick on Rupert Murdoch again for a second. In 2010, he donated $1 million to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which is a business advocacy group well known as the heaviest anti-democratic advertisers. And why wouldn't he donate $1 million to this group? After all, they're going to take that $1 million and use it as advertising space for his typically anti-democratic news channels. He also donated another $1 million to the Republican Governors Association. And this is all just the tip of the iceberg. Considering Rupert is considered one of the richest billionaires in the world, according to Forbes magazine, it would be foolish to think that he doesn't have some power over our legislation and possibly even impacting election results. So what's next for us as a consumer? I wish I had all the answers in this video. One place that I have started looking is www.ethosdocumentary.com, which is also the website for one of my favorite movies, Ethos. And they have a whole subsection devoted to alternate news sources. I would definitely recommend checking that out. And basically, again, like I've said in many other videos about other topics, we have to dig deeper. We have to start pulling away at some of the layers on that onion, get off the front page, and educate ourselves. Thank you so much for visiting livemorenow.net. I would love to hear your opinions below in the comments section. And if this is your first time visiting, we post videos every Sunday revolving around ways to improve our minds, our health, and our lives using small, simple steps. Please click subscribe to receive any updates. Thanks again for visiting.